So this is Scott Jordan. You're watching live here at Cellars of Sonoma. I've got Ted Elliott from T.R. Elliott Wines here. I asked a question on the break, and I'll answer it now for you. Which of the following likely describes a wine made from Cabernet Franc grapes? A, green peppers, vegetable. B, plum, jam, and citrus. C, vanilla and butter. And D, grapefruit and butterscotch. Well, we can probably get rid of the grapefruit, butterscotch. We can forget vanilla and butter. Yeah, I'm thinking that could probably be B. What do you think? Oh no, green peppers. No, I've done this one before. I knew the answer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm sure
green peppers, vegetable. Yeah, it's Cabernet Franc. And I love Cab Franc. I'm a big Cab Franc fan. I love a great Cab Franc.
I do too.
And they use it as a blending grape often, but boy, by itself, it can be a pretty cool varietal.
Absolutely.
So let me give you a little hint on some things that are coming up that you need to plan for. This Thursday, we have a meet and greet with another one of our winemakers, Michael Gann. Gann Family Cellars will be here from 6:30 till 9:30 or whenever we throw them out. And then we have live music that night also with Dustin Saylor. If you've not seen Dustin Saylor, go to the website, go to videos, and go to live broadcast, and you'll see his music. We tape his show, and he has just been a fabulous addition. Of course, on Friday, we've got John Pita. That also starts at 7:30. And then on Saturday, we have Robert Herrera. And then next month, we're going to start a series of winemaker dinners. Now, we're doing one with you I didn't grab my calendar. That in June.
I think it's June, yeah.
June, right? I think it's the. I'm trying to off the top of my head. We'll have promotions for that.
Right.
But that winemaker dinner is going to be right here in the tasting room, and this is going to be up close, personal. You'll be able to spend time with Ted. Learn about these beautiful Pinot Noirs, and we're going to have some great food. That's going to be a great event. That'll be very, very fun.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. No, that's going to be really good. And, it's an opportunity for you. Also, next month, also, you're coming in for a meet and greet as well.
Right.
And so you guys will be able to come in, meet Ted, ask him the questions about winemaking. He'll sign bottles for you. Yeah, your only fee is you got to buy a bottle of wine, no big deal. But that's what we're all about anyway. That's right. So 3 wines, the 3 plumes.
Yep.
Then we did the Cuesta.
Right.
And then the Burgonnet. Tell me the Cuesta, where'd the name come from? That always comes up.
Oh, always comes up. Cuesta is a 13th century word. It's actually a French word, and in California we tend to pronounce it with more of a Latino accent, Cuesta, but it's quest, search, and it comes from the title of a book that the French wrote called The Search for the Holy Grail, translated that La Quête de Saint Graal. So it's a search, and I used that. It was the first wine I made before I made these 2 single vineyards. I only made this Cuesta, and it is my reminder that with Pinot Noir at least, you have to keep looking. You might be disappointed sometimes, but don't ever get so disappointed that you can't look forward to the best glass of wine you're ever going to have, which is the next glass of Pinot.
Man, that has changed in the glass. Just, fabulous. The tannins are really soft, which we're really seeing in the 07s, right? The 07 wines have been.
Vintage.
Honestly, I have not had, and we taste a lot of wine here. And I'm really tough on winemakers, because there's a lot of winemakers and wineries that are not in this room, and it's because we're tough. We're really, really, really tough. And man, I have not seen an 07 that I didn't like. No. I really didn't.
Mother Nature just gave us a good hand that year.
Now, let me ask you another question. Why Pinot? There's all kinds of varieties. You could have picked. Who did? Well, Dan, I'm reading your mind. Why Pinot? Because, like I said before, Pinot's a little finicky, man. It takes a lot of hands-on work. It can get away from you if you don't pay attention. There's a lot more to it. So why Pinot?
Well, I think all grapes in the end wish they were Pinot. And, so I knew that's where the world was headed, and I had to get there. But no, the reasons that it can be the hardest grape to grow and trickiest grape in a lot of reasons, but I've been at this a while. And there comes a time when you just say, this is where I'm going, and you take the hardest thing there is. But it's also, to me, the most enjoyable. It's got the beauty and aromas of a white wine. Has some of, the silk glove and hammer punch is there as well. So,
yeah, you do definitely in this one here. Holy smokes!
So this Pinot to me has everything. It can go with food. You can have it by itself. It goes well with most food dishes. It's a challenge that I was welcoming in this stage of my career, and I've been associated with and worked with the Cabernet and Chardonnay, as you know, and this is just where I wanted to be, and I was not. I guess I was ignoring the fact that it would be difficult.
Yeah,
well, and it would turn out this good.
And really, from the very beginning of the winemaking process, those of you that don't know, when they bring the fruit in and press it, and then they put it into a steel tank and do the punch downs, the tanks are open top because you really can't pump this juice over the top like you do with your other red grapes and Syrah and the Bordeaux grapes, right? Because the skins are thinner, and you're going to pulverize those if you pump it over, right?
No, you're exactly right. And your audience is way ahead of most that would even understand what that means to have an open top fermenter. But Scott's exactly right. We have to be very gentle with this.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone to some production areas. When I used to work at Pine Ridge, they own Archery Summit up in Oregon, and they have this magnificent facility. I mean, this world class. I mean, big time. I mean, it's just insane. They spend a fortune, but they had punch downs were on rails, and they brought them over on rails, and hydraulics brought it down. But it was gentle. You weren't just pumping this thing through a machine and going over the top. You were gently punching down the cap, because what happens is the cap starts to rise. That's the lees and sediment, right? That's rising in the tank, and you want to push that back down and grab some of the color that's coming from the skins and the tannin, what you get here, right? I mean, that's kind of what you're trying to do, and you got to be really gentle with it, and that means it's a little more labor intensive than hooking on a hose, kicking on the pump, and come back in an hour, and you're all done with your pump. So there's a lot to it, and a lot of labor of love, I think is what we call that.
True, and I would though not to take away from a winemaker, but if you do Pinot right, it's very little handling because you want to capture what came in from the vineyard, and that means you're not pumping over hard. You're doing stuff very gentle all the way through, and that's what makes that's what keeps that aroma and keeps that texture there. You just have to sort of baby this wine. And I think one of the reasons it's hard to make is at least some winemakers want to really make wine. And this wine is not made in the winery. It's made in the vineyard, and we just babysit this thing.
Well, and I tell people all the time on our broadcast, we have some of the best up-and-coming rising stars in winemakers in this room, but they're not magicians. If you don't bring in good fruit, I don't care who it is, no one is going to make a great wine out of lousy fruit. So you're right.
Absolutely.
It's all about what you've done in the vineyard. And that brings us back to the 2010, which was such a challenging year. But are in the samples of the wines that you're looking at right now from 2010, what do you think? What's your opinion?
Well, okay, I've got because I took off all the raisins, truthfully, the very aromatic and light red, bright fruit for even in the O'Connell, which is generally stronger. And I think maybe I overreacted or something, but boy, I have, and because of the cool summer, another thing, Scott, we didn't talk about, but the ripening characteristics happened before we had high sugars, high alcohol. So it's a year when we're going to have lower alcohol and brighter fruit.
Okay. All right. We're going to take a break. We're not going anywhere. Those watching live, you'll still see the feed, and we're going to talk a little bit more about winemaking here at Cellars of Sonoma. So we'll be right back. I hear all these stories about 2010.